37 bronze gears, built in 100 BC, capable of predicting eclipses 1,000 years in the future. The next device with this level of mechanical complexity, the next one, does not appear in human history for another 1,400 years. It's behind glass in Athens. You can visit it today, and it is not the only one. These are 4 objects that every archaeologist, every physicist, every historian has studied in peer-reviewed journals for over 100 years. They still cannot explain them. 4 objects, all in museums, all studied by credentialed researchers for over 100 years. None of them should exist. The first one came up from the bottom of the Aegean Sea. 37 bronze gears, 127 individual gear teeth on the primary drive wheel, precision cut to tolerances that match modern Swiss watchmaking standards. This is the Antikythera mechanism, built between 150 and 100 BC, pulled from a Roman shipwreck 45 meters below the surface of the Aegean Sea in 1900. Here is the problem. The device doesn't just tell time. It runs simultaneous tracking of the sun, the moon, all 5 planets visible to the naked eye, and predicts eclipse cycles across an 18-year Saros period. A cycle that modern astronomy confirms requires a specific branch of applied mathematics. That branch of mathematics, according to the accepted historical timeline, was developed 200 years after this device was built. Think about what that means. It's like finding a working smartphone inside a Roman tomb, built with technology that, according to every history book, didn't exist for another 2,000 years. In 2021, a team at UCL rebuilt the entire mechanism digitally, every gear, every tooth. Their conclusion was blunt. Either the history of Greek mathematics needs to be rewritten, or this device was built using knowledge that left no trace anywhere else on Earth. The mechanism is in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. The 1,400-year gap in the historical record is real. Both remain unexplained. One object, one continent, one 1,400-year gap. The second object on this list is not a machine. It is a carved wooden totem, 5.3 meters tall. It is 12,500 years old, and it is covered in a language no human being has ever read. 12,500 years old. That is the confirmed age of the Shigir idol, a 5.3-meter carved wooden totem pulled from a Russian peat bog in 1894. In 2018, 3 independent labs ran the most precise dating test available. They all got the same answer: 12,500 years. The date is settled. It is not in dispute. What's carved on the surface, that is still in dispute, because no one can read it. The surface is covered in geometric symbols, zigzags, chevrons, complex repeated patterns, and at least 7 distinct human faces with intentionally specific features. Researchers who have studied the symbols describe them as a deliberately structured visual language. Researchers from 6 countries have spent decades on the symbols. Not one has cracked it. 12,500 years ago, according to the accepted model, humans were in the early Mesolithic period. Small nomadic groups, stone tools. The symbolic systems we associate with advanced civilization, writing, shared iconography, conventional visual language, are not supposed to exist for thousands of years after this date. The Shigir idol exists. The dating is confirmed. The symbols are real. What they say, nobody on Earth knows. Look at this face. Roman nose, Roman beard, Roman headdress. These are standard features of Roman ceramic portraiture, 1st to 3rd century AD. Any museum curator in Rome would recognize them instantly. This object was found sealed inside a burial deposit in central Mexico, beneath 3 building floors that were already ancient before Europeans arrived. In 1933, archaeologist José García Payón documented every layer of the excavation in a witnessed context. The pre-Columbian stratigraphy above the deposit has been independently verified. Dating analysis places the object between 1 AD and 800 AD. It has been authenticated by experts at the Vatican Museums and the Museum of Mankind in Vienna. This is a Roman ceramic head, sealed inside a pre-Columbian Mexican burial deposit, in a stratigraphic layer that predates confirmed European contact with the Americas by at least 700 years. There is no accepted explanation for how a Roman face ended up sealed inside a pre-Columbian Mexican tomb. Not one. 3 objects, 3 continents, 3 different problems. Engineering knowledge that disappeared. A language that cannot be read. A face that cannot be explained. The 4th object doesn't ask what was built or who was there. It asks what someone knew and when they knew it. In 1513, an Ottoman admiral drew a map. It showed Antarctica, 307 years before anyone officially found it. In 1513, a map was drawn that accurately shows the coastline of Antarctica. Antarctica was officially discovered in 1820. The map is the Piri Reis, compiled by an Ottoman admiral who documented his sources as approximately 20 earlier charts. Some of those charts were attributed to Christopher Columbus. The map was discovered in 1929, folded inside the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, undisturbed for 4 centuries. When cartographers analyzed its southern section, the correspondence to the Antarctic coastline was not vague. Specific bays, specific peninsulas, specific contour variations, including sections of coastline currently buried under 2 kilometers of ice. That sub-ice geological coastline was not mapped until seismic surveys in the 1950s. Here's the strange part. Any map from 1513 should have distortions built in. But when researchers corrected for those expected errors, the correspondence didn't fall apart. It got sharper, more accurate. As if whoever drew the original source had a better picture of that coastline than Piri Reis himself did. As if Piri Reis was just the copy. Researchers concluded that the map reflects geographical knowledge that required either aerial observation or access to source maps of unknown origin. Piri Reis stated he was copying from older maps. We do not know what those maps were. We do not know who made them. We do not know when. 4 objects. A machine that required mathematics that hadn't been invented yet. A carved language from a civilization that should not have had one. A Roman face inside a sealed tomb on the wrong continent. A map that knew where a continent was 307 years before anyone officially reached it. These are not legends. They are not theories. They are physical objects in actual museums, studied by credentialed researchers whose careers were built on this question. And the answer, after 100 years of serious work, is the same for all 4. We don't know. Our map of the past was built before we found everything that's in it. These objects are the things that fell through the cracks. Every one of these objects is in a museum. Every one has been dated, authenticated, published, and studied. The documentation is not in dispute. What is in dispute is the model we use to understand it. Because that model was built before these objects were found, and it has never been updated to explain things that appear documented, verified, undeniable, in places the model says they cannot be. The past is less settled than you were taught. This channel exists because of that. In part 2 of this series, we examine 5 more objects. Different continents, different eras, same result. One of them was found inside a coal seam. in a geological layer that is 300 million years old. The next video is already stranger than this one.